So, hey guys, welcome to vlog number 3. Yes, 3. I've made it 3 in a row. So, it's the 1st of March today, and I thought I'd give you a recap on what I've done. So for me, it was a training day, and I had what did I have? It was day 2 of my 4-day split, and I did upper body. So I thought I'd give you a quick rundown of my training day, what I did. And then there's a few questions I asked people, what they want to know about my training and other stuff. So I've got a few things. I've got rep ranges. People want to know about rep ranges, a bit around training splits. What's the training splits that are out there? Cutting and bulking, just some general information on cutting and bulking. And then there was a handful of questions on Instagram, which I was going to go through. So if you posted a question on Instagram, it will get answered. So as far as the training day, I went down to Derrim's Cryo today to try out the new equipment again. It was upper body, so I had a bit of a play with some of the new cool new equipment. A lot of the Panada, is it Panada? Let me check. Yeah, a lot of the new Panada Italian equipment that's down there is really cool. So a bit of a recap on what I did today. So I started off with your dumbbell press, did about 2 or 3 warm-ups and went straight into dumbbells. I'm currently doing a deload. So for anyone that doesn't know, a deload is like a recovery week. So I have a 6 to 8 week block. And then what I do is I have a recovery week. So I'll pretty much drop the volume by half, and I'll drop the weight, say 30, 40%, whatever. Just to have a kind of a refresh, let muscles fully recover, my joints recover. And also I can practice new technique things. So if there's anything in my technique I want to critique, I can work on that. So as I said, first thing I did was 3 sets on dumbbell press for 6 reps, nothing crazy. It's a heavy sort of compound. So obviously compound means multi-joint exercise. So obviously using my elbows, using my shoulders. Next thing I did was I moved into lat pull down. So I did a back pull down variation, 2 sets on that. Moved to a dumbbell shoulder press. So this is something I've been critiquing a bit lately with my dumbbell shoulder press. Instead of having my elbows flared completely out, I have them tucked slightly in. Reason behind this is just to prevent shoulder injury. Just take some tension off the shoulders. So that was 3 sets of 10 for shoulders on dumbbell shoulder press. Then I tried out one of the Panada super rowing machines. So that was really nice. Just a really nice tension on it, I found. I got a really nice pump off that one. That was the super rowing one, the red one. Following that, I did the standard pec fly. So just 2 sets on pec fly machine. Some dumbbell front raises for my anterior delts. So obviously, your anatomy, you've got your shoulder, and it's made up of your anterior delt, which is the front, your medial delt, which is the side, and your posterior, which is the back. So dumbbell front raises obviously working majority the front, the anterior delt, and this will help for like your pressing motion. So it will help along with bench or any sort of pressing, like shoulder press, anything along that lines. Following that, I moved over to a single hand bicep curl machine. Derrim's has this really nice incline one where it's up high. It's a fixed position. It's just really comfy. It's one of my favorites to do for biceps. Steady 2 sets of 15 on that. And then just the last thing, I tried something different. I had a tricep exercise to fill. So I did the Panada Super French Press. So basically what it is an overhead, kind of like a skull crusher with a machine. So reaching behind your head and extending. And that was really nice. I haven't done that one before. I've done a barbell variation, but I haven't done a machine variation of that. So kind of like a French press, which was really nice. So in total, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So about 8 exercises, 7, 8 exercises for my day. So yeah. So that's my training day. The next question was rep ranges. So generally, how do you know what sort of rep range to pick for what exercises? So generally, if you break it up into compound exercises, you've got your bench, your squat, and your dead. And then you've got your isolation, which is your more accessory stuff, say like tricep extension, leg extension, that's another one. And basically what you want to do is for your compounds, lower reps are generally fine. So you might have like 6 to 12, but for isolation, which is just accessory work or just single joint exercises, you want generally higher rep ranges. So anything from like say 10 to 20 is generally fine, but it can also depend on your muscle group. So if we look at your fast and slow twitch fibers, so obviously your muscle fibers are made up differently depending on the area of the body. Calves and forearms, they're one area in particular where you might want to do a lot more reps. So I might do 15 to 20 reps for anything forearm or calf related. But doesn't mean that calves can't be done with heavy weight. They can. Also, side medial delts, that's a really good area to do higher reps. So I generally do 12 to 15 reps for side medial delts. So this could be cable or dumbbell ladder raises, so raising them out, just ensure them high rep. And the good thing to remember is you can usually tell how muscles like to be trained based on the burn. So obviously, like if you do a high volume set, like the muscles are usually burning, like someone's got a lighter and it's burning your shoulders or burning your calves. And that's a buildup of lactic acid. So that's what you want. It shows that it's working. You want to feel sick by the time you finish your set, like that burned. If you're doing calf raises or if you're doing ladder raises. So obviously different with strength training. You're just fatigued, but you're not kind of feeling that burning sensation. So things like calves, forearms, lower raises, you do it and you reach, like say 12 reps or 15 reps and you feel that burning sensation. That's what you want. That's the lactic acid buildup, and that indicates that you're doing it properly. And generally for compounds, you want to practice a little bit lower rep range and get a bit of strength in it. So for bench, 6 to 8, 10 reps is fine. You can still do higher reps, but generally compounds like your bench, just when you're dead, will be a lot heavier and lower rep ranges. And generally anything above 20 is just called cardio and we don't do it. So anything above 20, I wouldn't worry. Unless you're just trying to show off on a leg press or something, I wouldn't really worry about anything 20 reps plus because it's not beneficial. You're not going to be able to repeat that every week and get benefit from it. You're just going to fatigue yourself and tire yourself out. And same again, like unless you're doing powerlifting, a 1 rep max isn't really going to benefit you. Your growth isn't going to come from a 1 rep max. Your growth is going to come from like multiple reps. For powerlifters, they're obviously going to be doing more 1 rep maxes, 3 reps, 5 reps, whatever, doubles. For bodybuilders, if you are obviously doing any sort of like strength training or whatnot, it might just be once or twice a year just to test your strength when you started. But generally, that's not what we're trying to do. So next one was training splits. So I thought I'll give you a bit of a story. So training splits are obviously the days and what muscles you train on them set days. So when I first started, I had no previous knowledge of the gym. So the first training split I heard of was the bro split. For anyone that's not familiar, the bro split is basically like each muscle group broken up individually on its own day. So you have a chest day, a back day, a shoulders day, an arm day, and a leg day. And it sounded good to me. I was like, oh, that sounds good. Everything gets trained evenly. But there are issues, and I obviously won't go back to that split again, but I enjoyed it at the time. One of the big issues is frequency. For me, my upper body frequency is like all my upper body's getting like 3 or 4 times a week, and my lower body's getting once a week, so 1 leg day a week. So that was a big issue, which I wasn't aware of when I started training. I was really young. So just to be aware of frequency, that's a major key point of how often you're training the muscles. And for me, chest was a strong point. So for upper body, to have 2 or 3 days where I'm getting shoulders and arms and chest, it probably wasn't that beneficial. But I've changed since then. And after that, I moved to the popular push-pull legs. So everyone knows push-pull legs, basically. So push-pull and legs is like a 3-day training split. And basically on push day, you're doing chest and tries. On pull day, you're doing back and bis. So it's basically on push, you're doing all the pushing movements. And on pull day, you're doing all the pulling movements. And then 3rd day legs is all legs, just a standard leg day. One little tip I have for push-pull legs that I do personally, it may work for you, it may not, is, excuse me, I find legs and back conflict for me. So if I do squats and I do heavy rows, they're going to obviously flare up a bit more. So instead of doing push, pull legs, I do pull, push legs. So I do pull, then upper body, because upper body is not really linked to lower body or legs. And then I do legs. And that by doing that, it means I get more of a break and better recovery. And that worked really good. I did that for a few years. And then I did a little bit of full body once or twice, which doesn't really help me, like doing a full body day. We pretty much train all muscles and you just have 1 or 2 exercises per muscle group, which isn't really great. It more depends if you've got limited hours to train and you're going to not be training that many days. But the current split I'm on, which is probably my favorite, is upper lower split. So basically as simple as everything upper body, everything lower body. And I'm currently doing, as I said, 2 upper, 2 lower, but I did have a third optional like a technique day for lower body. So that was like my third day, which is an optional one. And there's one more split I've only really done a little bit. I haven't done heaps on, and it's one that I'm seeing a lot of people doing at the minute. I've probably had a few people say they're doing it, and that is the Arnold split. So I just got this open here. I'll give you a bit of definition of what the Arnold split is. So the Arnold split is a 6-day workout split in which you train the chest and back, shoulders and arms and legs twice a week. It's a muscle building program that's designed to help you increase muscle mass and improve your physique because it's high volume for advanced lifters. So being that many days is very intense. So for a beginner, probably not that good to an arm split, leave intermediate or advanced, sure. Because you get caught into this rhythm of training too much and you're actually like jeopardizing your gains because you're not allowing yourself ample recovery. So that's just one thing to be aware of. But most importantly is, what are you in the gym for? Are you here for strength, size, or to get shredded? One of the things, pick what you're in for. Then obviously your training split will be based around the frequency for that muscle you're trying to grow. Using me for an example, I have low frequency for like arms or chest and high frequency for legs because that's something I'm really trying to grow. So for example, let's say calves is my weak point, and then I do 3 calf days and I base everything backwards. So obviously my lower priority hanging items would be like my arms. So if I just did one arm day or missed it, it wouldn't be a big deal. But obviously for you, look at what your weak points are and base your days around that. Find out the most days you can train that weak muscle is and it can recover from. So can I train calves 4 times a week? Can I train it 5 times a week or only 3? Once you figure that out, you'll be able to get the most efficient sort of training in your training split. So that kind of covers training splits. Cutting and bulking. So basically, obviously, cutting is losing weight, bulking is gaining weight. I think the person that wants to know about this wants to know some ideas for food. So basically, the process is the same regardless of bulking or cutting. It's really good to have a routine. And I know people get sick of eating the same stuff because it gets tiresome. Same with me. It does get very tiresome at times. So basically, the formula I follow, which keeps it simple, is whatever you weigh, times your weight by 2. So let's say you're 90 kilos, it'll be 180 grams of protein. And then you kind of just play around with your fats and your carbs, track for 2 or 3 days using MyFitnessPal. And then from there, you kind of get a baseline of where you've been at and get a rough idea. And then you can start manipulating your fats and your carbs. But protein's always going to be a set figure that kind of goes up and down evenly with you. Something to be aware of is obviously trans fats are really bad. They're the ones you want to watch out for. Don't have them. Fiber, make sure you have a good serve of fiber. Have digestion as well. And obviously a good formula I follow is like, say you're doing prep meals, that will help you out heaps. So if you get sick for a week or you get busy, you can go and grab that prep meal and it's ready to go. You can have your beef and rice sit in the fridge for 3 days. And if you get sick for 3 days, the food's there and you haven't lost any kind of results. So highly recommend the meal prep. Basically a good formula is just pick a meat. So you've got like chicken, or you've got your beef, or you've got your fish. There's your protein source. Then you've got your carb source. So it could be potato, it could be rice, it could be pasta. They're very high carb sources. And you can get technical: brown rice, white rice, basmati rice, jasmine rice, whatever. And then fats. Also for carbs, you can have veggies. So pick your veggies you like, have a variety. And it's very important, like if you're bulking and cutting, which veggies you pick. Because say like green beans will be like better for like when you're cutting. Broccoli might be something you can swap in for when you're bulking, because obviously there's calorie dense foods and then there's ones that are worth pretty much 0 calories. Like if you ever looked at green beans on a plate, like you can eat a ton of them and it's nothing, versus broccoli. Same with fruit. Just be aware of what fruit you eat. You can pretty much have the same diet year round, just drop the amount. So let's say you have cereal for breakfast. You might have, say, 120 grams of cereal. When you're bulking, when you're maintaining, you might have like 100 grams. Then when you're cutting, you might have 70, 80 grams and drop that. But it can be the same meals year round, just the quantity changes. You might have a thing of oats and you might just get sick of having berries in it. So you might just swap and say, I'm bulking now, so I'm going to have peanut butter in it. So it can be the same foods year round. It makes it easier to get a routine just swapping that one thing in and out. Me, for example, like my last meal, I love baked potatoes. So I've like probably 2 baked potatoes before bed. That's my last meal. This is something I prefer. If I'm cutting, I might have fruit. So not as dense. Obviously, it's still calories, but not as dense. But pretty much the food you pick, you can swap in, swap out, and you can add or take away on amounts, and that's going to help you stay in a routine. And high protein foods will make you feel full longer. So generally, if you're stuck like cutting, high protein foods will help you. Smash the water. When you're cutting, you do get headaches, like because you're lacking nutrients. So take multivitamins and drink a lot of water. That's also really, really handy to do. So that's a bit around bulking and cutting. I've just got some Instagram questions I'll bring up. Someone's got a PB on the bench. So question number 1, are you natty? I don't know what that means. What's natty? Is natty or not? I don't know what that means. Sorry. Next question. Why did you start training and your goals for training, future goals for training? Thanks, Daniel. So why did I start training? Because like I pretty much, there's a few reasons I started, but I got sick of my current lifestyle and I got really bored and I wanted to try something new. And like, I think at the time I was at Western Heights and I was like, everyone was signing up to the gym. And I was like, everyone's signed up to this one gym, like Darren's, it must be good. So I was like, I'll try it. I just remember like sitting on my laptop, Googling, I was like, oh, it seems all right. I might try it. I walked up to there. I pretty much didn't even check it out. And I brought like a $200 membership for a year. I didn't even like walk through it. I just put $200 membership. I'm like, oh, I really should have tried it first. What if I didn't like it? But anyway, I liked it, which is lucky. So that's kind of why I started and really got into it. And it was just like, I didn't have a PT. I had very, very little knowledge prior. I can remember walking in and pretty much doing pec fly, leg extension, and like curls, like really basic stuff. And my bench was like the bar 1.25s, 2.25s, and I worked up so gradually. It was ridiculous. It was so stupid. Future goals. I do have a few future projects happening, which I'll tell you about shortly. A few surprises coming up, but basically my goals are to compete next year, season A. So that's the plan. Give me plenty of time to bulk up, put some real size on. I've been putting a little bit of size, but I want a bit more. And strength. Obviously, I'm a bodybuilder. I'm not a powerlifter, but one day I would like to compete in a powerlifting competition, just to tick that box. And obviously get my lifts really, really good. So get my bench, my squat, and my dead really good numbers. Like my bench is pretty good. Squats a lot cleaner than what it was, and dead's a bit hit and miss as far as form. Something else I'm working on, for those of you who don't know, I'm doing a TikTok. So basically, it's like an exercise library. I've trained with lots of different people, lots of coaches. It's a library of all the exercises, the correct form, how to do them. So it's not like an egotistical, like how heavy do I lift sort of thing. It's like, here's some exercises with good form. What's some good ways to do it? So one example is like a banded RDL, dumbbell RDL. That was a really good exercise I did, and it just helped remove any back pain, help with hip engagement. So that was one example, but it's probably about, say, 40 or 50 videos I've been working on. So that's something I'll be doing in my spare time. Yep. And I think that was the last one. Most of them around goals of future and current training goals at the minute. I'm just bulking. I've been bulking for a long time, but I've been doing mini cuts. And I haven't shown my physique in like 5 years. I haven't taken off my top in 5 years. So hopefully, like when it's time, it will look insane and I'll be really cut and peeled. And yeah, so I look forward to that when that comes. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you were very entertained and informed, and hope to see you guys in the gym. Happy training.